Class, this is John Duncan. I'm one of the subject matter professors here in the Ethics and Leadership class. And today, what I wanted to talk to you briefly about in a short video is a little bit about leadership and followership and ethics there. I don't know about you, but in my world, I don't run into that many leaders. I run into a lot of people that talk about being leaders. We have a lot of elected representatives, for example, who call themselves leaders when they really are representatives. We have a lot of people out here that claim to be leaders of their team or their business or whatever, but really they just issue orders and mandates and make people do things. So we have bosses a lot of times. It's really hard to have a leader unless you have a team. And part of a team means everyone has a role to play in the accomplishment of a unified goal. So, leader, therefore, would be the person that is making the final decision or coming up with the direction that the team is going to use. For example, a basketball team has to have some type of team coordination, and they have to have some type of leadership. I was in law enforcement for a long time, whole career as a narcotics agent. We did a lot of raids, going into a house, and taking over that house. Well, basically, you had to have a plan, and you had to have someone that crafted the plan, and you had to have someone that called the shots. Now, that doesn't imply that everyone sort of blindly follows the leader, and I don't think that happens very often, except maybe in a cult or in some type of organization where everyone just is enamored with the person in charge. Maybe there are companies like that. I just don't see them. Now, one of the best works that I've seen, I wanted to show you this, that I've ever seen on leadership is called Moby Dick, written by Herman Melville. Most people believe this is just a whale story, but it's not. It's the greatest symbolist novel that's ever been written. And so in this particular work, we have Captain Ahab. Ahab runs the ship, the Pequod. He's the captain. Ahab is a mysterious man, scary. Everyone's very scared of him. They all sign up for whaling, which means they believe that their role on the team is to do whatever their job is for a whaling ship. Now, these whaling ships in the 19th century had owners that commissioned a captain to go out and do whaling, and then the captain had broad latitude in how they could enforce their rules on the whaling ship as long as they brought back their bounty. Well, the problem with that is that Ahab had his own agenda, and I know you've known people like that. You've seen people that when they got authority, when they got power, their own monomaniacal self-interest, what they wanted to do, took over. And I think Ahab did the same thing. He had his leg bitten off by a great white whale, Moby Dick, and he had a new whale jawbone leg crafted. And he was a monomaniacal man that as soon as the ship sailed, he nailed a gold coin on the masthead and said, we're looking for the great white whale. And at that point, he redefined the mission. Everybody had signed on to go whaling. Ahab was on it for revenge and vendetta and hunting for his own meaning in life. So that happened. And it ultimately led to the destruction of the ship and the death of most everyone, including Ahab. So I know that I, in my life, have worked for a lot of Captain Ahabs. People that as soon as they got to a position of power, just hijacked that position and drug everyone along simply because, what are you going to do, quit your job? You're going to leave? You're going to get off the ship? Well, what about your retirement? What about your income? What about the bills you have to pay? You just can't walk away from that, so you've got to put up with it. So it really takes a lot to be a leader. Ahab was not a leader. He was a tyrant. Same thing's true in the Iliad. The Iliad here by Homer. In the Iliad, Agamemnon is the leader of the Greeks, so to speak. But he gets jealous of Achilles, who's the greatest warrior of the Greeks. And Agamemnon takes a woman away from Achilles, and it causes Achilles to leave the fight. And the Greeks, as a result, start getting more and more destroyed by the Trojans. Eventually, Achilles' partner, his friend Patroclus, borrows his magnificent armor and goes into battle. Everyone on the Trojan side thinks it's Achilles. They all run back, and Patroclus has a wonderful day at war and glorious day, but he's killed by Hector, and Hector steals the armor. So it makes Achilles mad, and Achilles embarks on his revenge, honor path, where he gets some new armor from the god of the forge, Hephaestos, and dons that armor and goes into battle again for the Greeks. But the problem in this is not so much what did Achilles do. I think that's about honor and the duties associated with honor. But what did Agamemnon do? Agamemnon, his own self-interest, destroyed the relationship he had with his best fighter, with the best fighter who had ever lived, according to this book. And in there, Agamemnon acted on his own self-interest, on his own ego, and left his people out. So these are a couple of examples of toxic leadership and how toxic leadership will destroy an organization, bring it down to its knees, and cause problems. I think that the ethics of leadership, when we're talking about leaders and followers, a leader has to earn the title of being a leader. And as so, they have to have certain obligations of leading the people and making good judgments that are important for everyone to accomplish the unified mission. And the followers have to understand what their role in this is. And they have to be willing to do that role. Now, a job place, you may or may not buy into it that much. But in real leadership, you have to have that relationship. And so in this lesson, in this particular section, what I want you to do is think about those issues that come up having to do with the ethics, the responsibilities that a good leader has toward the people in the group, and that the people in the group that have different roles to play in the success of the mission have toward that decision maker. And what is the nature of that? Sometimes we have tyranny on the one end and chaos on the other, anarchy on the other. So those are the two extremes of leadership, tyranny and anarchy. And there's got to be some kind of balance in there that is ethical, something that includes shared understandings and mutual coming together over what we're going to do, and relinquishing a little bit of the deciding to a single person because you believe that they have the ability to come up with the best solution and include everybody and help us all achieve, motivate us, whatever we need to do to achieve the group dynamic, whatever we want. So anyway, think about that in this lesson and enjoy the readings, and I'll enjoy reading what you write about it. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.